Hey guys, it's been a while. I have returned with a new video, and it's about old school MapleStory. Every single aspect of it. But first, before we begin, it's intro time. Who likes gambling? The real question is, who doesn't like gambling? It's actually illegal in some countries, and minors are forbidden to play. But some way and just somehow, we find methods to gamble by proxy. Legally. This is what Maplers call dummy scrolling. How it's supposed to work is you're manipulating the RNG system in the game by allowing a succession of fail animations to appear, making the scroll that you actually want to pass have guaranteed success. Now I know what you're already saying. No, that's impossible. Also not true. The program is coded to make something work 60% of the time, 60% of the time. Whether you pass or fail is not determined by its predecessing results. But hold on. Let's just say that we had a time machine and we went back in time. A time before, let's say, I destroyed this spear of mine. If I were to have used a scroll on something else, something less important, then apply the scroll onto my spear, would the results have changed? What does that percentage have to do with the item at hand? When is that percentage calculated? When you pick up the scroll or the moment you apply it onto your item? This comment that I got would argue for the former. But is there a way to manipulate that factor? Or would you say that the item is destined to become this way from the moment it came into fruition? Would that make the item predestined for glory or the scrolls? Maybe it's both. It's a question that Maplers to this day have been discussing since the dawn of time. Unfortunately, time machines don't exist, and speaking from a logical standpoint, it all comes down to luck in the end of the day, and a 60% scroll has the same odds as you swinging a weapon rather than stabbing with it. So what does any of that have to do with the title of the video? You know what, that's a really good question. When I say modern old school MapleStory, it's hard to objectively agree on what that specifically means. Currently, as of this video, there are 3 OSMS versions of the game, and I happen to have experience in all of them. And I'm going to clarify to you these 3 versions, and at the very end, I'll announce a secret 4th version of OSMS. The OSMS you, yes you, all of you, have probably been waiting for a long time. Let's talk about this one first. This is a version of MapleStory that is currently on version 0.62 GMS. I've always wondered when in the Maple timeline Dark Scrolls were released, and it turns out they have been in the game ever since beta. The scrolls just weren't available in-game and only existed within the files, my assumption being they slowly released them as the game kept updating. Using a 60 feels like flipping a coin that's been bent just a little to favor heads. That's why it feels like some bullshit when you fail them, because you're pretty determined to think that you're gonna win. Throwing a 10% though feels like betting on green in roulette. However, scrolling with 30% is a dead man's game. A game that goes on forever until the day you die. Allow me to explain. Let's say you have an item, and you want to perfect it with the best scrolls available. In order for each upgrade to be successful, you must win a game of rock, paper, scissors. Only thing is, you're the type of guy to go for rock a lot, and your opponent, supposedly the scroll, goes for rock not a lot. If you lose, you start again from the beginning. If you tie, you don't get an upgrade. And if you win, you move on to the next game of RPS. Then, you keep playing RPS until you either perfect an item or survive the gauntlet until the very end. It's a very daunting task, and even modern MapleStory players play a similar game, albeit with slightly different house rules. That is what the average player with a cognitive brain will be doing here in this version of MapleStory. Forever playing RPS with literal pixelated inanimate objects. Sounds fun, doesn't it? Sad to say though, but these Dark Scrolls will not be available in the other 2 versions of OSMS. At least until a very long time, if not ever. But you know what will be available in these 2 though? Warriors. Hey, so welcome back. This is Fadiggle here once again, and if you don't know already, I'm a warrior, more specifically a dragon knight. It's the 3rd job of the spearman branch, and depending on which type of person you ask, they'll either tell you that it's the worst class to choose, or they'll tell you that you're a dirty cheater, and might even go for the defame. That's why I've had enough of this harassment. I just want to stop being a spearman, which is why I changed jobs to a thief. Yeah, I know class switching doesn't exist back then, but now I can say I'm the only warrior ever in the history of this game to be ranged. Did you know that every class in OSMS except warriors are ranged? Yeah, I know. And to be quite honest with you, This class kinda sucks. One of the biggest factors of old school Maple was the cost of potions. Mobs didn't drop power elixirs on the dozen like they do nowadays, so for every use you drink, that was money down the drain. Just think of it like each time you get hit, that purple number represents the number of mesos you just lost. But that only applies to the warrior, as all three other classes have their cheap tricks to avoid getting hit as much as possible. It's only the warrior class who ends up tanking all the damage, and what do we get in return? A mana pool that doesn't go into the thousands and a bunch of health. And you know that if you're a seasoned player that ultimately, that HP isn't gonna matter. We'll get back to that later. First, let's talk weapons. You see, these classes came out one by one. There were never actually 4 classes to begin with. In KMS Beta, the warriors were the only class available to play during its very first run of the game, and they had a myriad of weapons to choose from, not including the spear, the one I'm using, the polearm, the one-handed axe, the two-handed axe, the one-handed mace, the two-handed mace, the one-handed sword, the two-handed sword, and the 3-sword style. And what's wild to me about that is each weapon variation has different properties depending on whether you swing or stab with it. And that's not even the crazy part. The crazy part is that every other class, not just you 3, every other class gets 1 to 2 weapon choices for the rest of Maple time, while the warrior, 8. 8. Clearly, somewhere along the line of development, coding integrity stopped being the main issue at hand, and they discovered that what people really wanted was overtuned characters and fast mobility. Now that that stupid pandering ass song is over, this is a diagram of each weapon choice and how it's shared along the paths. As you can see, the Spearman is the most unique, bearing only 2-handed weapons. Spearmans are also unique because they're the only class that can ignore the 60-40 swing to stab ratio with the skills they get at level 70. There's the Crusher skill that hits the enemy with a triple stab, and then there's the Fury skill, which is a single line swing but with longer range. So my question is, if the spear is supposed to have a stronger stab and the polearm is supposed to have the stronger swing, why the f are these 2 skills even in the pool? There's quite literally no point in adding points into these 2 because you're only detrimenting yourself by doing so. Another detriment you cause to yourself as a warrior depends on the number of ability points you stack into dex. While dex is important to raise your minimum damage along with your accuracy, strength is the key ingredient to be able to dish out mad DPS on the warrior. And quite frankly, you can tell a warrior's level of skill just by asking them how much base dex they have. Don't believe me? Then why is it that every other class in the game except warriors require secondary stats to wear their gears, while the warriors don't require any dex at all? Speaking of dex, we should talk about my favorite class next. The Bowman, being the next class to ever be playable, added 2 new elements into the game: range and crit. Since their main stat is dex, accuracy is never an issue for them. That means that they can kill stuff higher than their average level. Although trash when surrounded by enemies, if you stay far enough and research all the available maps with safe areas to farm like a nerd, this class can and will be abused by those willing to go the distance. I used to hate on this class hard, and the reason being is because unlike the warrior, you lose the ability to be able to attack in the air. I grew up playing the thief and the warrior, and they both have a hidden passive where you're allowed to attack mid-air, and yeah, I know that doesn't sound impressive, but if you've ever played Falco and you've accidentally lasered in place, then you know exactly how I'd feel. However, then I found out about the frame 1 jump shot. If you click your attack and jump key with precise timing, you can jump while attacking, but it does take some practice. So now suddenly, the Bowman has unlocked the ability to jump shot, which drastically changes the playstyle depending on whether you use it or not. Not only that, but even the next class is able to do the 1-frame jump shot. And what is that class? What do you think? On some, this gonna be the strongest weapon in this server type if I land this 30%. Please. I'm not even gonna use these white scrolls. Ah yes, the mage. In terms of everything, this class is likely the most played, most utilized, most broken, and even the most sought out after of all the classes, even trumping the thief. Its supposed weakness is the low HP, but that is disregarded with the basic skill every mage gets, Magic Guard, allowing you to use your mana pool as HP. Even without talking about 4th job, which I think we can all agree is the most broken shit in the game ever, mages are slow, until around level 50. You have no inherent speed, but are you really considered slow when you can just all over the fucking place? Of course not. And if you ask Dave, he'll tell you that actually a lot of mages were S tier for drop games. In a legit game, teleports are banned, but in Channel 1 Hennessy's potion store, do you really think anyone is playing by the rules? Just the way the class cheeses mobs with broken skills. Marth is somehow unkillable unless you're right on his ass. Pause. But anywhere else within his vicinity, you're dead as shit. Everyone knows to max this skill before anything else first, but why is that? Well, it's because you gain more mana per level, and if you put your points into MP, that same rule applies to those points as well. This action you're seeing right now is called MP washing, B. Anyone can do this, even warriors. But when you think about the NX you'll be spending putting those points back where they rightfully belong, you can see why nobody wanted to do it. Alternatively, mages do need int for damage, so much so, everyone in Artale is going luckless, even if it means sacrificing the opportunity to wear proper gear in order to maximize their int. And since we're on that topic, let's jump ship, because I'm sure plenty of you were waiting for this moment. This is my cleric in Artale. My first character is this white knight I made about 2 weeks ago. If you've been playing Artale, you know how much meso goes into buying potions, and when that money is actively disappearing in front of your very own eyes, I find it comical not to main the heal slut. Combined with MP Eater, the cleric can potentially never use a single potion, HP or MP, ever again. Are you starting to see why Everyone's been asking me to give my take on MapleStory Worlds and Artale for some reason, and the best way I can describe it without going too off topic would be, it's old school MapleStory and it plays like a flash game. But here's the thing, it's Nexon official and it's insanely sweaty, tryhard, and people want to get strong. Personally, I wasn't subscribed to the Artale hype until around day 3. It takes a little bit of getting used to its crap factor before you can start glazing the very first official Nexon endorsed OSMS server, if you can even call it that. It does feel janky, but you— oh my god! Here we go. Check me. Oh! Oh my god! Shit. Some people are just like that. I was like that. Hey, everything we're talking about is all gonna be in the video. Oh! Bob the goat. Oh! I wasn't even looking at the screen. 10 motherfucking attack workloads right here, man. One, 2, 3, 4. I know it's not 10. See, shut the f— is it 8, guys? I think it might be 8. Let's take a look. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, so guys, I was thinking whether I should go the hero or the paladin, because you know the spearman is, you know, just— whoa, 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 what the f is that?
Is it the bug or am I missing something? That sounds like a bug. Yo, did you just 10% the— oh my god! 10% on each of them, then I rotate through all of them again. We only have one left. The highest stat Nakamaki. Do I even dare? First one fail. Second one. Why?
Here's what I like about Artale. First off, I like how every character is unisex, allowing you to ignore the gender clause when it comes to wearing equipment. I also like the fact that it's Nexon official, meaning that my character won't magically disappear due to a game admin rug pull. I like how you can play this game on mobile if you can tweak it to work. I like how they gave quality of life buffs to certain classes, but they all still feel the same. Sure, the priest is still OP, but there's no 4th job yet to really seal the deal on that. Best thing is, final attack is finally fixed in Artale, making it actually quite useful for the 2nd job warriors. I like how it's currently a fresh start, almost acting as if it's an open beta for what's to come. I like how you don't have to click Z to loot, and you don't have to feed your pet. My favorite aspect of this game is the new rope climbing strat, which I will now don as the rope dash. It takes some practice, but you can seriously up your mob gen game if you get good at it. What I really like is the auction house. It acts like the same one from GMS, but you can also sell cash items too. But here's what I don't like. What I don't like is that you can only buy 20 things a day. What I don't like is the stupid meso selling bots that no one is taking care of. And what I really don't like is how only 50 fucking people can play together on one channel. And if you CC, you lose all your buffs along with it. I don't like the fact that you're only allowed to create one character, or how Nexon doesn't really give a shit about the game. But most importantly, I hate that they removed the swing versus stab ratios and the ability to do the frame 1 jump shots. Gone is the complexity that made old school Maple interesting for me. And for the cherry on top of this controversial rapid fire take segment, I hate the fact that there is no HP washing. There, I said it. You can leave your little dislike and go. Oh, and by the way, dropping don't work in Artale either. So no drop games and no broken meso explosion. Alright everyone, watch closely. This is my warrior without hyperbody and with it. This skill literally saves me and my party from getting one-shotted by bosses. Since I'm a warrior with this broken passive, I can gain enough health naturally to be able to survive. But what about these two? Mages have magic guard, but what happens if you enter Zakum as a squishler like the thief? Simple. You die, and dying sucks. That's why in servers where AP resets don't exist, spearmen are considered mandatory when training at higher areas or at boss battles. But with AP resets, you can convert your extra mana into HP, allowing a more tankier character than the natural stats they're given. That's why people either spec int into their ability points or wear gear that provide int. They don't want that mana. They want to convert that mana into health, unless you're a mage. HP washing works differently depending on your class. Just know that thieves and bowmen have it the hardest when it comes to spending money, cause remember, each reset is 3.1k NX. Warriors have it the easiest because it synergizes with their passive, and mages have it even easier because they don't even need to HP wash. Just add points into MP and then put them back into int. It's always worth it to do so. You only really need like 10,000 health to be able to survive most situations in maplestory, but if you really wanted, you could reach for that max health. When warriors reach max health via HP washing, the remainder of their levels till 200, they'll slowly add excess HP into their mana pool. When mages reach max mana, they do the vice versa of warriors, finally unlocking the ability to become tanky. The thieves and archers, well, they're a bit occupied trying to accumulate the NX to even wash properly. So much so, there are people on OSMS servers literally waiting years to be able to play their thief, stockpiling NX to wash. You don't know sweat until you've tried HP washing, refusing to buy the minuscule of cash items just to get that one more reset in for your guy. So who first discovered this technique back in the days? It was none other than this guy. No wait, wrong guy. I meant this guy. Thank you very much for discovering a totally unintentional exploit for Maplers to use. And I'm not being ironic. If you're a hater for HP washing, you were either told to hate it by somebody else, or you've never seriously played this game, which is fine. I just don't like it when those same people try to argue their points and opinions for the rest of the players out there, enjoying their time, slowly watching their character become stronger. And while we're on the topic of late game, let's talk elements. elements, just like in Pokemon, were introduced sometime around when mages came out. The mages are unique, either having fire, poison, or ice lightning to choose from. Besides the fact that the fire poison mage only has single targeting moves till level 70, they basically are the same class but with different elemental attributes. With the archmage, farming on certain maps can be more efficient than the priest. They even have a spell booster that increases your cast speed, along with Eliamp that ramps your damage by 150%. But if you thought even for a second that they were better than the bishop, allow me to shut you down for the next minute or so. Bishops have heal and the holy attribute, which allows them to farm for free in any undead map. And which map is everyone currently farming on in Artale? The Death Teddies. Located at the bottom of Ludibrium, where every map you go, they're all weak to Holy. At level 70, you get HS, which we've already talked about before, but also Dispel, a lifesaver during boss battles. Want to talk about saving lives? The Bishop has the ability to literally Fortnite res someone, which can come in clutch during the heat of battle. And the cherry on top, not only do Bishops use less mana for their skills thanks to not having Eliamp, even with Spell Booster on, the Genesis is faster. I'm sorry that you got shafted so hard, Archmage mains, but at least in Artale you've been giga juiced, having a run for the priest's money during the mid game, but I'll see you at the top. You see, Maplers, if you've been in the game for long enough, you'll know that this class right here has gone a long way to reach the status it has in the game right now. I don't know if it's because these two looked cooler when we were kids, or if the weapons were ugly or some shit, but no one played the Paladin. On the contrary, in the year 2024, the Blunt Weapon Master is the Master Class Warrior due to the elemental properties on Charged Blow, allowing a bonus 150% damage to its attacks. You want to talk percentages? Paladins can equip the Crushed Skull, an insane one-handed mace, which means you'll be doing 10% bonus for the Swing Strike, 50% bonus from the attributes, 30% bonus from the damage buff of the Fire Charge, and a whopping Johawk 360% from max level Charged Blow. Did we just not know how to count back then when we were kids? It seems that all the hero mains have grown up and gotten a job in life. The Dragon Knight mains became crypto millionaires, and the Paladins are the only ones left still playing after discovering everything the game had to offer. It's honestly super base. By the way, they buffed this in Artale. For some reason, they thought Pallies weren't strong enough. No rebuff for Charge Blow, and I'm releasing some top secret info and the nerds might be after me once this video goes live. I'll have to go back into hiding, caught red-handed for being the one responsible of the sudden price increase in blunt weapon scrolls. Let's be real though, blunt weapon scrolls, let alone warrior scrolls, will never ever be pricier than scrolls that enhance the equipment of the thief. As you'll soon see if you aren't aware of this already, the Thief's release broke the game in terms of power scaling, and not having elemental skills were the least of their worries. With the release of 4th Job and Maple Weapons on the way, the game was soon heading towards the fate that was sealed by the development team themselves. Little did they know that one measly class release would become the base foundation of every change in MapleStory for the rest of history. But is that a bad thing? I don't think so. I mean, it's probably the main reason I'm still talking about this game today. So please sit back as I tell you from my perspective the beauty of the Thief, and why the community unanimously agrees that this class was bro to the Ken, more so than Fox and Melee. Hey, so before we get into this, I wanted to show you the craziest thing I've witnessed on Mapleland. You know, the one in Korea?
예? 다시 예? 하나만 더? 예? 아 버그잖아 이거. 설마?
Now I know what you're all thinking. If he had just threw all of those onto the same glove, he would have been a millionaire. And you know what? You wouldn't be exaggerating. Currently, since the last time we've checked, mesos have gone down to a humble 3 USD per mil. But if you look at the prices of the people merely buying 13 attack work gloves for 2.1 bill, the theoretical 14 attack work gloves you'd be selling on Mapleland would be a f***ing Rolex Submariner 124060. But these are just given to him as dummy scrolls. You remember dummy scrolls, don't you?
풋! 오케이! 슛! 펑! 풋! 짝! 펑! 풋! 펑! 풋! 아공을 버리는 거임. 뭔가 한 장 더 버려야 붙을 것 같아. 오! 풋! 펑! 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 풋!
So now that we know that dummy scrolling isn't a sham, it's my turn to get a little twisted. It's time to take my most expensive item to the test, and if God or something like that even exists out there, strike me down now before I carry on with the ritual. I must have forgotten to tell you. Warriors are the unluckiest class of the four, and it's a proven fact. This is why the Thief does the most damage. Not only do their main stats go into luck, Thief mains just seem to have luck as an IRL attribute figured out, allowing even the lowest of IQ sins to pass all those scrolls they be paying for. My luck has personally been some horseshit, so I stick to the Bowman in modern GMS. Why, you might ask? Because Dex will always be the most readily available stat you can purchase at a lower price, and archers were always the most unpopular class throughout Maple history, making their equipment the cheapest. While luck may not be an attribute you can control, the amount of wealth, effort, and time can fluctuate, each providing progression into the game, whether that be your level, damage, or even just how you look. Some people just don't have time to play anymore, relying on their other attributes to make up for their shortcomings. Some people have the opposite problem. Having so much free time in the world, people look at them funny. The veterans of the game tend to stat into effort, getting the most out of the 3 attributes they invested. See what fits with your playstyle. All I'm saying is, the Thieves take the game the most seriously out of all the classes you meet, and I don't even need to tell you why. What's there to say about them that hasn't already been said before a million times in several of their videos? There's a good reason for that too, because while sins were popular culturally, they were also equally popular in the game, even in 2024. You already know that the hastes and the crits and the flash jumps and the shadow partners and the dark sights and the easiest jump shot, the max attack speed on their weapons, the crazy luck multipliers. Wait, what'd you say? Wait, what do you mean luck multipliers? Wait, let me take a closer look at this. See, what I think is the Thief has the most required substat, their dex, in order to equip their gear, which probably means their damage multipliers are super hyper roided out the ass. And remember, if we put maple weapons into the picture, Thieves don't need to put any extra dex into their stats at all. Are you telling me the warrior gets 3 to 4 times, 5 times multiplier if they're lucky, while the thief gets a 5x multiplier per throwing star? Why in the fuck would anyone even play this horseshit class? I've spent too much time on this shitty fucking character, on the shittiest class in the fucking game. Welcome back to the Deefscape with your host, Sidney D. Thank you very much. I know it's been a long ass time coming, but what up y'all, it's your main man Sidney D back at it again with some more. Well, I'm afraid to say it nowadays just because what might happen to us. You know, it only dawned upon me like a week ago that this translates to erase it all, and I was like, damn. If that ain't wild, I don't know what is. But I guess Nexon is well known for being wild like jungle juice, which is why I totally get it when I meet Maplers who absolutely despise the company with contempt. And if you take a quick step back, realize that that much money could not have come without some sacrifices. It's kind of like an old-time religion. I don't get to be here forever, so while I have this screen time, I want to show y'all Thieves' ideal version of classic Maple that everyone from every server can migrate to, making it become the mega server like it was back then. Mapleland Korea showed us what's possible when players come together to revive a game that doesn't even exist anymore. I doubt Nexon ain't finna poke their heads to see what's going on after this. Check me out, cause I'm about to cook. The client should look, work, and feel exactly like old school Maple. Don't be doing no weird stuff like tweaking items, but bug fixes are welcome. Release it patch by patch, just like Mapleland, starting from version 0.1. If you're gonna keep the FM, make owls purchasable with mesos. Even better if you have the auction house, make it so that you can trade anything, including cash items. No dumbass limits, please. I don't mind if y'all add MVP perks though. MTS would be nice, but I can understand if you wouldn't want to. But the meso market, the one found in modern MS, needs to make an appearance here. Full SP and AP resets should be available, but there needs to be an option for single AP resets for the sole reason of HP washing. Cash items should last 90 days, but you could also implement the cash shop surprise permanent Xboxes in old school MS. While we're at it, add the overpriced vac pets as an option there too. May as well. Keep it to one server, but I do think it would be pretty interesting to see a reboot version of old MS. Make the scrolls purchasable via shops, but everything isn't tradable. And this is the most important step. At some point, you'll have to stop updating the server for good. This is probably the best place to stop it, to let the game be in the best state ever, while also being Nexon official. Sounds like a dream come true if you ask me. Oh, sorry. As I was saying, when you start your very first Maple journey, you are given two subconscious quests that need not be mandatory. The quest to become level 200 and the quest to obtain the strongest perfected equipment available. These two quests help both divide and unite Maplers reach a common goal. Whether you decide to help or destroy, to give or take, it's all up to you. In a game where in-game currency can easily be translated into real-life money due to demand, the most sane behavior would be greed. Remember, this game brings us back to our childhood, a time where there was no shame in showing who you really are, if you know what I'm saying. And the result of this phenomenon creates the craziest, most amazing, and the wumboest of entertainment, whether it's in-game, in a YouTube comment section, on page 42 of a forum thread, on social media, or even in that drawing you commissioned of your Maple character. You want to know what the real reason for why MapleStory still lives on? Nostalgia, sure, but the community and their loyalty to the game, carefully crafted by those folks over at Wizard, is the reason why Maple continues on. How can you forget that music? Do you even know who made it? Well, I didn't either, but I found him last year. The only thing I'll say is that he made all of those songs that Nexon still remix today to rake in that cash. And they were made with a mouse and keyboard on an old music program. How he managed to do that is a question both you and I don't know the answer to, it seems. It seems like my time is running thin. But before I go, from me to Dave, this is my tip to you dexless thief wannabes out there. First, ignore the haters. Second, watch this video below and come back. And third, put the rest of your points into luck until you make enough money to scroll yourself the godliest end gear weapon you've ever made. And if the math works, go and get yourself an AP reset and have fun, my boy. And to everybody else watching this, shout outs to the community. Let this game never die for as long as we live. 2 mil no clown, Scania best server, Echo own. And if you were looking for the stuff that goes beyond the horizon, well, I have some bad news.
You're a victim.
Wait, why do I know that name? It's Joe Hawk.
Warriors are the dummies in dummy scrolling. Their purpose in Maple life is to be the class no one else wants to play. Melee tanks, willing to go in night deep in order for the floaties to do their thing. Even in life, the videos you create, artworks that you draw, the live streams that you have, they're all dummy scrolls. You can put in 100% effort or just 20, but for each upload, post, or creation is another scroll closer to the golden light of success you've been aiming for. For what it's worth, the Warriors were likely the hardest class to create and design, adding a lot of the fundamentals that make Maple, Maple. Sure, we've moved on from a lot of that old stuff, but this class branch stays true to its origins, still having the 8 choices they've had since the beginning of the game. When you play the Thief, you fight against everyone. When you play the Bowman, you fight against the naysayers. When you play the Wizard, you fight against luck, fate, and temptation. But when you play the Warrior, your only enemy is the game. No other class envies you, yet they root you on, willing to help in any way possible in order to see you shine. Why do you think so many legendary players were known to be warriors? It could be a coincidence, sure, but the same pattern seems to be happening again here in the year 2024. Without warriors, there just isn't MapleStory. 2025 is coming soon, and rumor has it that Mapleland will be released by then. You can call cap on that, but let it be known that my October prediction ended up being true. Anyways, I'm sure you've had enough of me for a day, so off you go. But from the screen, to the ring, to the blunt weapon, to the king, there will never, ever be another class like the Warrior in MapleStory ever again. Because Nexon doesn't need to make another one. And when Warriors play to see the miracles they've set out to fulfill, but watch this glove scroll work.
Oh! Oh! Yo! Hold on.
Everybody shut the fuck up. Let me use the rest of these. Fuck it, I'm using on the Dark Clench. Okay. You saw that, right? Hey, Nexon, you saw that, right? You better hook me up with some 11 attack work gloves.
Here's the plan, here's the plan, here's all the sound effects. I need complete silence. Hide myself, hide everything. We're gonna full send this. We're gonna go click, 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 okay? And after this, let's go to Hennis's hunting grounds and check out our damage, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm changing channels. We're gonna test out our damage, just like did. Did I actually miss one? Oh my! Should we just fucking put this on? Do you want me to hide it? Do you want me to hide it? I can't believe I fucked it up, man. What? No, this is such a bad omen. Okay, I'll show you guys this final one. Yeah, you know what? I'll send it, see what happens. Oh, please, please. Come on. I need to see, like, the apex of my damage. 4,800. 6,000? I think it's a 9. It's a 5. Should I check? I'm not gonna look, okay? I'll put it on the screen for 5 seconds. I'm not gonna look. OMFG, it's 11? Is it 11? Is it actually 11? Trolling, you're trolling, you're trolling. You're trolling, you're trolling.